One aspect to consider in the prescription of a power wheelchair is the drive input type. The standard type of drive input is what we call a joystick, which is located on either the left or the right armrest. If you're not going to use the joystick that's standard on the chair, most manufacturers will have like a specialty control input, which is what this is. This is called an Omni device. This will need to be located on the chair, and this essentially allows what we call a specialty control to interface with the chair. So what we have here is what we call a head array. So this would be for a user who is going to use the chair by head movement. There's a few switches located in different parts of the headrest, and essentially the headrest will sit on a bracket behind the user's head, and the user will move their head around to control different aspects of the chair. You might use chin control, and there's a couple of different ways to mount chin controls onto the chair. This is one way, which is like a harness type system where the joystick is essentially strapped to your upper body. This system's quite advantageous in that it means that if your body is moving, the joystick is essentially moving with you. The other way to mount what we call a chin control is on a power boom, where there's an arm that attaches to the backrest on the chair, and essentially the joystick will sit in front of your chin, which can be moved inward and outward, both manually and powered. A chin control can also be used, on the chin as the name suggests, but it can also be used maybe by the user's lip, or in some cases by the user's tongue. For users that can still have very functional control of their fingers and or their hand, but can't quite handle the use of a joystick, there are other options out there. A couple of examples of these is what we call a little Vic box, where your finger just goes inside this little square here, and you essentially just move your finger around inside there to drive the chair. Another example is this here, is what we call a tablet device, where essentially you can just place your palm or your hand down on the tablet, and you can just move your hand around and the chair will drive according to where your hand will move. So that can be quite good if maybe you only have some very gross motor control left, maybe through your elbow or your shoulder. Typically the prescription of any specialty control device is done in conjunction with an experienced supplier and your therapist, because it requires a lot of setup and can require more extensive trialling to make sure that system is going to be functional and works for you. Some other functions that power wheelchairs can perform include some integration with electronic control units. So there's basically 3 different ways that a chair can do some functions outside power seating and power drive. The device that I just showed before with the specialty controls, this Omni device, it has a little function up here, a little infrared transmitter. So that allows you to have the chair control infrared devices around your home. Another way to integrate your chair into your environment is to look at Bluetooth mouse control, which is where there'll be a Bluetooth module on the chair, and essentially the joystick or the drive input on the chair will move the mouse cursor around on your computer screen through the use of Bluetooth technology. The final way for the chair to integrate with your environment is typically through a device that most manufacturers call an input-output module. And what an input-output module does is allow the chair to interface with your environmental control. Your home environment or your work environment can be potentially integrated through your power chair.